Most Americans don't have an income problem. They have a money leak problem nobody taught them to find. You've probably felt it, earning decent money, yet somehow never actually getting ahead financially. The paycheck arrives, life happens, the month ends. The cycle quietly repeats without explanation. Japanese households earning similar incomes to American families consistently build more wealth over time, not because they earn more, because they've mastered something Americans were never taught: leak prevention. Before building wealth, Japanese financial philosophy demands you first stop the invisible bleeding. This video reveals 10 hidden money leaks silently draining your financial life every single month. Each leak has a Japanese mindset behind it that quietly blocks the drain before wealth disappears. Let's start with the leak that grows automatically every time your life improves even slightly. Lifestyle inflation is the leak that expands perfectly in sync with every raise you ever receive. American culture treats income increases as permission slips, permission to upgrade everything simultaneously. New salary, new apartment, new car, new wardrobe, new restaurant tier, new everything immediately. The raise arrives and the spending adjusts upward within 90 days, sometimes faster than that. Japanese philosophy treats income increases completely differently. The lifestyle stays still while savings accelerate forward. The raise is invisible to the lifestyle and completely visible only to the investment account growing quietly. Marcus got a $12,000 raise and somehow ended the year with less savings than before. The leak didn't feel like a leak. It felt like finally living the life he deserved to live. That feeling, I deserve this now, is exactly how lifestyle inflation disguises itself as reward. The first leak is the gap between your old lifestyle and your new income that spending fills automatically. The next leak is sneakier. It doesn't come from wanting more, it comes from being exhausted. Decision fatigue spending is what happens after your brain makes hundreds of small choices throughout the day. By evening, willpower is depleted, judgment is clouded, and the path of least resistance becomes expensive quickly. American life is engineered to maximize decisions, endless options, constant notifications, infinite choices at every moment. A tired brain defaults to comfort, and comfort in America almost always costs money immediately. Japanese daily structure deliberately reduces decision volume, preserving mental energy for choices that actually matter financially. Simpler routines, consistent meals, predictable schedules, not boring, but protective against expensive, exhausted decision making. Sarah spent $40 to $60 every Thursday evening on impulse purchases she never remembered wanting by Friday morning. Thursday was her longest work day. The leak wasn't random, it was completely predictable and completely preventable. The second leak drains through your most exhausted moments, disguised as harmless comfort and small rewards. The next leak is even more invisible because Americans have been trained to consider it completely normal. Convenience spending is the premium you pay to avoid minor friction, and it compounds into something enormous. $2 convenience fees, $4 delivery charges, $8 airport water bottles, $12 hotel phone chargers. Each individual charge feels negligible. Together, they form a leak that can exceed $300 monthly. Japanese culture maintains a deep tolerance for small inconveniences in exchange for long-term financial advantage and stability. Walking the extra block, preparing the meal, waiting the extra day, friction accepted as a wealth protection strategy. The convenience economy in America is built entirely on your unwillingness to accept minor temporary discomfort daily. Every convenience fee is a tiny tax you pay for impatience, and impatience is an extremely expensive habit. The third leak flows through every moment you paid extra to avoid something that would have taken minutes. But convenient spending is almost affordable compared to the next leak, which operates on pure social psychology. Status spending is money paid not for the product, but for what the product signals to other people. The restaurant chosen because someone might recognize it. The brand chosen because the logo faces outward visibly. American culture has made status signaling so normalized that most people genuinely cannot separate it from preference. Japanese wealth philosophy considers visible status signaling almost distasteful, wealth demonstrated through behavior, not objects displayed publicly. The wealthiest Japanese households often own the least visible markers of success anyone would immediately recognize externally. David upgraded his gym membership specifically because a colleague mentioned going to that particular location downtown. He paid $200 extra monthly for equipment he already had access to, buying belonging, not fitness. The fourth leak flows through every purchase made for an invisible audience that wasn't actually watching you anyway. The next leak is unique because it hides inside systems you built yourself with your own hands. Subscription blindness occurs when recurring charges become so automatic they completely disappear from conscious financial awareness. Americans underestimate their monthly subscription costs by an average of $130 every single month. Not because they're careless, because subscriptions are architecturally designed to avoid triggering conscious spending awareness. Japanese households treat every recurring charge as requiring active renewal rather than passive automatic continuation indefinitely. Nothing renews by default in this mindset. Everything must re-earn its place in the budget monthly. Jennifer audited her accounts and found 9 active subscriptions for services she genuinely believed she had already canceled. The fifth leak runs silently in the background of your bank account, growing while your attention is elsewhere completely. The next leak only activates for a limited time, which is precisely what makes it so financially dangerous. Urgency marketing traps work by bypassing rational thinking and activating fear of loss instead of desire for gain. Flash sales, countdown timers, limited availability warnings, last chance emails, all engineered to manufacture artificial financial urgency. Americans spend billions annually on purchases triggered by urgency that was completely fabricated by a marketing department. Japanese consumer culture maintains deep skepticism toward urgency. Real value doesn't disappear in the next 48 hours. The question asked before any urgent purchase is simple. Would I want this tomorrow if the countdown disappeared entirely? Ryan bought $1,700 of photography equipment during a 72-hour sale. He wasn't planning to shop. He needed none of it urgently. The timer needed it urgently. He paid for the timer's deadline. The sixth leak only opens when someone else decides it's time, and they decide constantly without your permission. The next leak is the most personal because it hides inside your own self-image and identity completely. Identity spending is money spent to maintain or perform a version of yourself that requires ongoing financial investment. The gym clothes that signal fitness before a single workout happens. The books displayed, but never actually opened. American identity is increasingly constructed through purchased objects rather than demonstrated behaviors and actual lived experiences. Japanese philosophy separates who you are from what you own. Identity built through practice, not through possession accumulation. The seventh leak flows through every purchase made to perform a self-image rather than live an actual life. But identity spending feels harmless compared to the next leak, which costs you money you haven't spent yet. Future cost ignorance is the leak created by purchases made without calculating their complete long-term financial footprint accurately. The cheap appliance requiring expensive repairs, the discounted vacation on a credit card charging 22% interest. Americans consistently evaluate purchases by their immediate price tag, while ignoring every cost that follows the initial transaction. Japanese purchasing philosophy calculates total lifetime cost before any significant purchase decision gets finalized or committed to. The eighth leak isn't about what you paid, it's about everything you forgot to include in the price. The ninth leak only appears after something good happens, which makes it nearly impossible to recognize or resist. Reward spending treats financial milestones as permission to immediately reverse a portion of the progress just made. Paid off the credit card, so the vacation gets booked. Hit the savings goal, so the upgrade gets purchased. Real wealth is not built by one big decision, but by quietly closing 10 small leaks, permanently, forever.